Hi, everybody. I'm Naomi Hoffman, and I'm going to be presenting my group number four's project charter presentation. So open up, let me open up real quick my slides. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go right there. All right. So the project that we have chosen is the temple work done for the 8th generation. And the why are we doing that is because it's a commandment for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to do work for our dead family members. And it is also a privilege to be able to do this because they're not able to do it for themselves. We get to participate in that work for them. And it's a blessing because not only do our ancestors have the opportunity to have those ordinances to gain salvation for their future, but we also get blessings, temporal blessings here on earth too, for our service. So it's really, really great. So my next slide talks about the scope of the project. And the way we're going to do the project is we're going to find and collect the names of relatives dating 8 generations back for each of our group members. And then we're going to do their temple work. So specifically, we're going to find at least one member of our family, of each member's family in the 8th generation. And we're going to do 2 ordinances, temple ordinances for that deceased ancestor within the project's time frame. And so some of us may have to do even more digging and research to get up to 8 generations because some of us have pedigrees that don't go that far. So it will be a little bit more extensive, and we'll go about feasibility. The analysis for that is that our project will take about 4 weeks, give or take a week, and we will need access to a computer and internet and resources like FamilySearch.org is what that should say. And then also we'll need access to a temple to be able to do the ordinances for our ancestors. The quality metrics for this project, we have chosen it needs to be on time. And that just means that the project needs to be completed within a week plus or minus our target date, which is in 4 weeks. And that will mean that that portion of our quality metrics is a success. It also needs to be complete, meaning that we all have found at least one member of our 8th generation and have done 2 temple ordinances for them. And it needs to be accurate. So the information that we find in our ancestor, it needs to be validated with more than one source. So like more than one census record or a death and a birth certificate kind of thing. And we need to have active communication, which means that as team members, we're assisting one another and supporting one another in this project. And we also have active communication with the Holy Ghost, because with the Spirit, we'll be much more successful in this project because it's the Lord's work. And we'll also be utilizing resources as one of our quality metrics by using different sources like FamilySearch.org and Ancestry.com and things like that. So one of the risks associated with this project is power outages. That could be something that could happen. Don't foresee it, but it could be. And if that's the case, then we would wait until the power comes back on to continue our project, or we would go to a facility that has power if it's just isolated to our like neighborhood or residency. Another risk could be poor health. One of us could get super sick. We hope that that doesn't happen, and we are having precautions against that by getting enough rest and adequate sleep and diet and like hygienic stuff, washing hands. But if that did happen, we would hope that the person recovers soon enough to get um, back to work, and we could help also in assisting them with their research and whatnot. Another risk could be there's limited records on an ancestor, or they're even non-existent. Some ancestors just don't have um, information that has been written down if it's been like a really long time ago. So that could be a possibility. And if that's the case, then we would try to move to a different family line and try to find an ancestor within that line. Another risk could be temple closures, and that's a possibility if there is a cleaning that could be during our project time. So we want to make sure that we're looking at the schedule ahead of time and working around that, so that doesn't become a risk. And the last risk that we see with this project is printer issues because of printing off names to take to the temple. There's a possibility that the printer could run out of ink, or it does run, or we don't have paper. And we're going to make sure that ahead of time that we have full ink and we have enough paper. And if the printer still doesn't work, we always have the names sent to the temple, and they can print them off there. So that's a possibility to mitigate that risk. The resources we are going to need for this project is familysearch.org, ancestry.com. We can also use heritage.com, Find My Past, Hope Chest, and RecordSeek. And these are all different resources, as well as even family history consultants within our own wards. And we can use each other as resources, as well as we'll need to use the temple as a resource to do our the ordinances vicariously, and also the printer and all that stuff as resources for doing our project. We expect conservatively that we will see about 10 hours for the 4 weeks of active time on our project for each team member. So that includes finding the names, getting them ready to go to the temple, travel time to the temple, the actual ordinance time, and the travel time back. And then the cost of the project, there is, of course, a portion of our internet bill that would go to the researching and adding on our ancestors, and also our electric bill and the fuel to get to the temple and back, and any fees that any team member may want to use to upgrade certain research sites to have different services is not necessary, but some team members may feel like it would be beneficial or helpful to do that. And then there's also the cost of ink and paper to print the names. And of course, a portion of the phone bill if people on our team are contacting family members to get information on deceased ancestors. So in conclusion, we feel like this will be a successful project because we're all going to work together and we're going to pray and use the Holy Ghost. And we know that this is one of the most important things that we can use our time doing here on earth. And we know that we'll be blessed. And yeah, so that's the conclusion of our project. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Thank you and have a great day. And let's see, I'm going to close this.